Welcome. Welcome to the gym where we try to not look awkward, like working for nothing. It's like, how good is a book, you know? It's like the ideas that you have to know, interwoven and interspun into something that has become just for fun. That's like what it's like here. It's the idea of work, but it's all clear. There's no confusion, there's no mess. Is that like, there's little work, or is that work at its best? Do birds need to fly if branches of trees grow just from the light of things? Maybe chicks fly further than adult things. All stuff like that, you know? Is it all just a play of light and shadow? There's one thing I really want to hit though. That's like, I want to hit some dance moves in here. It's like, what do I want to really do at the gym? I want to like dance. Okay, well I can do that like cross to dragon to pistol squat thing. Did it. There you go. Someone doing the worm on a matrix machine at the gym. I'm definitely like much more flexible than I've ever been. I don't know about big. Like, I think when I was like 20, I don't know, 23, 25-ish, was like 185, 2% body fat, like squat 400, like bench 225. And that was just like what I would just do by myself. But now I'm like super flexible. Like, I just balance and like work on stretching mostly. It's like the muscle I have is like what's there, kind of, because I haven't been able to focus on this like as much as I'd want to, kind of thing. But I come here and I see a lot of old people and I think, what is this going to eventually turn into? Like, am I just going to be like some old guy that's like doing like bands, like just stretching with like the resistance bands in here? Because I mean, the endorphins of reality, they hit back. Like the fact that it's like all of this could be real, and you do all this like on the spot, just like me doing that worm right there on the spot. It's like the ground is hard. And it's like the light is real, but the more that I think that the light is to be felt, do I do things in the light that cast great shadows? Am I setting myself up for, just within my own experience, the idea of not being able to do something in the light, like dance or whatever? I don't know, I'm still pretty kind of beat up. That's from doing a front flip, just a standing front flip on the ground. I was like, yeah, I can do it. I'm pretty confident. I just did it. Messed myself up. Yeah, I'm definitely like a yogi though, more than like a bodybuilder. It's one thing I've had people compliment me on is like, wow, you can like really balance, you know? It's like, it's cool, I guess, you know? I'm like the yogi guy or something. I mean, it is what I did through college. I like was lifting the whole time, but it was like, I just did yoga as one of my courses as well because I thought, hey, like, I need something else. And there was always like messages in there about like the ego and like pride and like, I don't know. Maybe that's where I get this whole idea of just like, you know, how big are you kind of thing. Just like the smallest thing is probably the greatest thing that can observe something like a fly on the wall. But how big is the wall kind of thing. And it's just like the best person is almost the most plain. And as soon as you are accustomed to your environment, it's almost just like, hey, well, you've forfeited the idea of like being great. Because as soon as you engage in a conversation with something, it's like you're saying that you wish to be comfortable with the thing. And how can you accentuate differences and the idea that like you are greater than something if you actually want to observe? And the best way to observe is to be plain. You know, things like that is what I come across. But it can get you in trouble too, just as much as like being like super upset and angry at things and saying that that's what gives you strength and power. Because you can be drawn to a place where it's like everything comes from nothing, and I don't have to necessarily do anything that I don't want. It's a place of like, you do that very like passively, but it does exist though. It's like where I've been in these last like 10 years is like meditating like that, you know, and everybody's just like, what are you doing? Just the same as like people might say to like a lot of these bodybuilders you see on here, like, what are you doing? You're like very vocal and very like expressive, but in a way that displays a sense of little control. But see, on the other side, it's like you're in denial because you're saying the world doesn't necessarily work off of humanity. It works off of greater things. It's like the idea of the sun is life. And if I am going to try to say something like this place and people like have purpose in life, the greatest thing you can try to become is like the sun. But the greater that you're like that, you're like for no one, because you're supposed to shed light in all directions, and it's supposed to be like that wall. It's plain to see, you know. And if that's the case, is it great at all, kind of thing. It can kind of get you in trouble too, just as much as saying like I'm the greatest and not you. You know, if you're ego tripping and stuff like that, because then you think everything's very passive, and then all of a sudden people think that you're trying to take away just as much as what they've worked for, as much as like, I'm trying to take away what you've done because I'm directly competing with you. It's like passive aggressive, like it's like superpower passive aggressivity or something like that. Let's do some chest. But that's just my warm up though. If you've been sticking around with this, that's just my warm up before I go and do some like actual like bodybuilding or powerlifting kind of stuff. I used to be all calisthenics. Like what I grew up with was just basically pure calisthenic kinds of things. Like I did wrestling, and like most sports, you don't necessarily focus on like lifting for size or things of that nature, you know? You just mostly try to work on stuff that gives you a lot of endurance, and you want to try to maintain like your flexibility the entire time as well. I guess I can go right here, it looks like. Gonna work with what's open. It's not necessarily the bench that I'd want, but it's better than no bench. 80s. Doing some 80-pound dumbbells. Chest press. Usually do 100s, but I gotta work back into this a little bit. It's like, I feel like I have to like figure out like a healthy routine, you know? It's like, I'm not necessarily just lifting for size anymore, or like looks. It's like, I'm really trying to figure out how to like live here, you know? How to like maintain a state of being here where it's like, it's healthy and it's like comfortable. It's not painful, and it's like I don't have to worry about injury as much. So I don't know, I'm trying to work on something like that. fun stuff. I'll tell you what's actually fun about it though, is that if you actually have some friends that you do this with, and you actually go and do stuff with them, every time you take your shirt off, it's like a huge rush with those endorphins. Those, you know, it's like you're in the highlight reels or something like that. Every time that shirt comes off and things, it's like, oh yeah, like all that work was worth it, kind of thing. Travel with your friends, go to foreign countries, go to, I don't know, any kind of like physical place here. Just like, yeah, like, you know, you feel great. You're just in the highlight reels. Like I said, it's like tough. Everything's tough when you get older. It's like, how can I keep doing this? How can I maintain this? And is it best to like maintain the same purpose I had before? Obviously not. It's like, for starters, I'm by myself. I don't have the financial support I did before. I don't have the companionship I did. Everybody's moved on from that stage of life. People have kids, people have, you know, jobs. And then I'm over here like some yogi monk that's like talking about, yeah, the greatest work is the sun, but it like works for free kind of thing. You know? Am I like writing paragraphs or poetry? You know, does a chick fly more than its parents if the nest is just growing off of light kind of thing? Is like the greatest way you can interact with people, like a handshake or a fist bump. I don't have to rhyme, but it's like it can still mean something. Just like, are you engaging or are you accepting? It's like, where is somebody at? What do they actually really need? Do they need more strength or do they need like passivity? But a handshake a lot of times enlists the idea of money and business, something that's getting away, its trickiness. It's like Loki and the stories of Thor and their great tree. That's like how a chick actually flies, you see? You know, stuff like that. Maybe Thor would actually like much more of a fist bump than a handshake. Because it's like, hey, the work is free. It's not necessarily for anything. We're just having fun, man. Or at least we're trying to, with all the experiences we've had at this point. I'm like 32 now. I've traveled the world and like been in trouble. It's like hard to recognize like what was accident and what was surprise. So now I'm just very cautious, very wary, very, you know, wordy, trying to protect myself, cover all bases, because the bases are always loaded when it seems like you are competing with people in major league sports. You have to be aware, it's like, yeah, the game is always going on. And if that's the case, you might as well treat it like the bases are always loaded, because every point counts.
Wait, that's next? So when's the freaking row? When's the row? The row? Yes. The row, power steering, the tires. Then what?
maybe I kind of look kind of big, but I'm just letting you all know, to me, this is like, I'm so out of shape. It's like, yeah, I pushed up those 80s like it was nothing, and it's like, already, there's only like 2 or 3 guys here that are doing that much weight, and what, I'm only 170 pounds or whatever, but to me, this is like very, very out of shape. It's like I'm losing my breath, having to catch my breath. But hey, just stay out of trouble. Like, if there's anyone listening to this, like my best advice I can give you is just stay out of prison, stay out of jail, stay out of the hospital, because man, that stuff can really mess you up. Like, more than the stuff I think you can get sent to places like that for, it's like going there is actually a lot of times worse, you know, because getting back in the swing of things, and like, then all of a sudden you might be living your truth a little bit. If I'm talking about, like, you know, money's not real, it's like the sun. It's like the idea that you had something, but then as soon as you get it, it's gone, son. You know, there it goes. You can like clip and highlight that. Everyone's like saying sun is a joke, but to me it's like a matter of fact. And it's like, yeah, like I live my truth, but is it because it's what I believe, or it's because now I have a record on my hands from doing stupid things like playing with a bunch of fire and like making a bunch of art and like trying to sell things door to door, and people are thinking that I'm just some crazy neighbor. Could have rhymed that better, but you get the gist of it. I'm just kind of messing around, kicking it. So let's do some more chest. I'm just gonna do some like, I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I'm doing like plate extensions kind of things. There's like a pump for you. It's like, yeah, my arms are jacked, but it's like I got a little bit of a belly right now. Like, my chest isn't necessarily like, you know, Puff Daddy or anything like that. It's not like, I mean, it looks good under a shirt still, but people have to realize, like, when you're cutting and stuff like that, it's like that exists for only a certain amount of time. It's like a lot of the time, you know, it's like you exist in a place where it's like there's a lot of like sag and stuff like that. It's just because you put on, like, people don't realize, like, I put on 20 pounds since my incarceration, just like getting back, and like I gotta like eat and stuff like that, you know. And so it's like, yeah, going from like 150 to like 170, and it's like it's all just like carbs. It's not necessarily just lean muscle or like, you know, what my body needs. It's not necessarily water weight. It's like, you know, you look like that a lot of time, but it's like the muscle's still there. It's like I've been doing this for like 30 years. I've been in sports my whole life. Bodybuilding and lifting since like, I don't know, probably like 2008 or something like that. 2007 is when I started doing that. Like, I did wrestling, and then from wrestling I transitioned to like bodybuilding and weightlifting, because it was just like, man, I'm done with wrestling. It's like, you guys want to know what a brutal sport is? Wrestling. It's like there's so many of just and like cross faces and elbows and knees, and like I mean, even like, I can tell you guys stuff where the teams broke down, like in a room just like this, just everyone wrestling, like we're doing like wrestle your own weight. It's like JV versus varsity. And it's like, that's your public standing, that's your social hierarchy. It's like what you were is like how popular you were. It's like relating direct strength to the idea of, you know, your standing in life. It's like a tough thing. And I remember one time, like we were wrestling in the wrestling room, and like, well, I'm like in high school, I was like 103 or something like that. It's like the lightest weight they have, but I was like 70 pounds. And we rolled into like the heavyweights, and all of a sudden a fight broke out in the wrestling room because everybody was just tired, you know, going from like hanging on the bar for like 2 minutes to like 2 minutes straight of sit-ups, 2 minutes straight of push-ups, 2 minutes straight of like, you know, like burpees, and 2 minutes of like everything. It's just like, yeah, a fight broke out on the wrestling team. I was like, I'm done with this. And then I got into bodybuilding, so. I don't necessarily know what the next move is. Looks like I lost a lot of people right there, but it's hard to tell what's gonna, like, you know, get anybody here or not. It's like, look pretty jacked right now. Is that really what everyone's here for, you know? Just the environment, the idea. Maybe I get a few people out. Maybe because of this, a few people think, hey, I could get back into the gym, or I could go today, or it's been a while, or maybe you're just like, not really out of it, but you just think like, all right, yeah, I'll go, you know, kind of thing. And it just was the motivation you needed to get back in the light. But I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. I watched Arnold's stuff, and he's like, we were just done. He's like, all of us, like Lou Ferrigno and like all those guys and Arnold, and he was just like, hey, like eventually we were just done at the gym, and it was like we just decided that enough was enough, kind of thing. And so I don't know, like, I think obviously the people still exercise, you know, but it's like the exercise has changed. Maybe some ideas have stayed the same. It's like about your well-being and about your own personal, like, triumphs, you know. But then do you become like the Terminator, just devoid of life? Like, you're on a mission always, and it's like hard to recognize, you know, when you've actually got a part or not. Like, is this Skynet right here kind of thing or whatever? But is this the actual part? If it's like the easiest thing for you to do, maybe, you know, it's like you can let go. Maybe the greatest strength is just in like believing in something greater than yourself. And it's like the idea of the wilds, you know, kind of thing. It's like the idea of getting out there. The idea that you don't have to train, you know, is that true strength because it's already something you have. Like, at some point in time, stuff like that does make sense. And it's like, you know, in all the infinite realms of the world, like, can I make it back to where I was? I've had friends tell me yes. You know, like, that's the only thing they can like mathematically promise is like what was will be again. You know, and it's just like, okay, if that's the case, like, and there's a little bit of proof of like, yeah, I can get back, you know, kind of thing. Let's hit this last like 10 pumps on this real quick. Just got to be humble. Just got to relax. Let everybody be strong. It's like there's strength in numbers, maybe more than the individual, you know? It's just like that pump is almost like, hey, you have become something that just absorbs. Like, you got to be able to like absorb different things. Just like, you know, you got to let people, you have to let other people be strong. It's like there are strength in numbers. Like, you don't know how much that'll help you. Like, just like letting other people be strong in this world and like take part. It's like I could probably help you out of a lot more like tough situations than like you just like, you know, being strong yourself or whatever, or thinking that it's like it all has to be you. Do I feel kind of bummed I'm just doing 45s now? Yeah, a little bit, but it's what I feel comfortable doing, you know? And it's like, I'm not, like, I don't think I'm making anybody nervous or anything like that. And it's like, because you can make people nervous in a gym. You know, like, you can make people think like they got to come over and help, and it's like they can't focus on their own workout. And while I'm here by myself, like, I can make strong exercises with light weights. I just got to go more and just got to be smart. And then I got to fine tune it. I got to jump down to a different machine or a different approach, you know. But yeah, it's kind of sad. It's just like, yep, just 45s. I'm not like, I don't have 2 plates and a 25, you know, on there. And I don't have 2 guys with me. They're holding on to each side, or 1 guy on the back, kind of thing. It's just like, this is what I feel comfortable doing in this place with a lot of people, and it's like I'm just here by myself, and I'm not going to try to cause problems for anybody and make them think like they got to help, or, you know, stuff like that. Maybe one day again I'll find somebody to lift with or whatever, but right now this is just what I feel comfortable doing, and like, you know, not making it look like I need anyone's help or anything like that, or like I'm struggling or I'm going to be causing problems in the place where it's like, this is my morning. This is where I receive that prana. If you're familiar with yoga, it's like the first light of the day. Everybody here is like more accepting the earlier that you are here. And it's like, I don't want to like upset all of that, you know, with my environment here and things like that. So I just go with the plate for now, you know, who knows? Like, maybe one day it will just be bands. There's a few guys in here that look like they're like 70 or something, or 80, and they just worked with bands. Maybe that's what it turns into if you just keep going, you know? Just like eventually one day you are just on bands and that's it, you know? Kind of thing. You got to believe in the strength though. Like, it's tough to be in this world and not like try to be a superhero and like say, yeah, I can do anything. Like, it's very hard to exist in the bodybuilding world and like not succumb to like so much ego tripping. you know, it can be dangerous, like, and just not like realistically, but philosophically as well, because it's like, you know, like, do you really think that you can maintain that? Like, you have to be able to do different kinds of strength. You have to be able to absorb different kinds of things. So let me hit this. So many injuries, like my shoulders popping. My shoulders popping from like snowboarding. Like snowboarding injuries, and like it's like it's like I am like an action figure toy. Like my arm's gonna like pop off, dude. My arm's gonna like straight up like just like pop off. But it's just from like snowboarding, just like, I don't know, wiping out on like the barren side of a mountain with just like no pads on after like going off a jump or something. Just like, yeah, I can do it. I'm really gonna do it. And then just like, hey, I went off it and committed. I just like trusted. It's like some Jesus Christ, like straight up like like Christ air and like snowboarding or something, or skateboarding or something. Just like, does it just take my belief? You know? But then it's like doing that like a bunch of times. Either that or just like in sports. Just like, oh shit. All right. I'm gonna get a drink now if anyone's wondering what the hell's going on. So interesting. It's like I've been live streaming for like 7 or 8 years. What's the difference now? It's like, you want to say what's up, Russ, to the stream? This is Russ. Yeah, this is Russell.
What up, yo?
He's the hookup.
That's right.
He's the local hookup here for all your goods. Thanks, Russ. I don't know what I'm doing different though. You know, just like, what's the difference? Like, all of a sudden I got like viewers. I guess, you know, it's just like straight up matter of time, I guess. I don't know if anyone watching knows, but it's like the only money I've made off of YouTube is like chewing bubble gum. I was like, hey, I'm gonna make a video of me just like chewing some gum, you know? Pretty busy right now. Come over thinking I'm gonna get on a machine and people there. Let's do some like chest flies. If there's anywhere I can go. Let's go right here. It's like all I can give. Let's do one more of these. Guess I've been going now for like an hour, whether or not I count my stretching or not. Some people say that I look good, but I mean, like I said, that's all relative. It's like my own experience, you know? Back when I was into this as much, you know, as like a lot of people that you see on the internet today, it's like I wasn't taking pictures. I wasn't walking around filming, you know? But it's like all relative. You know, it's like looking good swimming. Swimming will take everything from you. The water will take everything. The water is like erosion. The water is like the idea of strength, but it's plainness. It's the idea of supplication. It's the idea of listening. If you could talk to whales instead of talking to walls, you know, everything falls in the ocean. What is that true strength? Is letting go. They say, hey, you want to know how good someone really looks? Go swimming with them because it all comes off. Kind of thing. What are you like? Who are you? What do you do when the water comes? Do you say it's a flood, or do you just say that it's all just another breath of fresh air? You know? Do you grow out or cut your hair? Because guess what? The water even makes it hard to have long hair. Unless you just stay in and just say, is that water or is it air? Kind of thing. But you can get in trouble. You can get in trouble living like me, obviously, if you haven't been able to tell so far. Just like, it's pretty radical thinking, especially if you believe it. What's up, Taylor? Let's go and get some more water. I'm like thirsty. And just gotta be humble. Just gotta accept other people's strengths. There's strength in numbers. There's other people here doing this. It's like, what do I really do in this world? Do I just lift? Sometimes it seems like it, you know? But it's just a matter of like, there's strength in numbers, you know? But the funny thing is, the more you know what you're doing here, the more you might stand out, and everyone then thinks like, what are you doing? It's like some weird reverse yoga again. Yeah, it's like you're not causing problems to anybody sitting in like lotus, except for the idea of everyone just wondering like, what does this guy believe in? And like, what are his relationships like that just allow him to do this? Where's all the money coming from rather than power, kind of thing, in this world? Rather than some medieval kingdom where it's like power is the idea of conversation or the idea of work yourself. That's like being the king. But I'll tell you, when the king is in frustration is when it's like there's more than just one kind of power. That's like a variable, some sort of translation. A crankshaft, you see the idea that everywhere you push, it's multiplicity, strength in numbers. I have trouble with, this is like where I'm most accepted in this world. And then it's like, if I kill myself here, what am I supposed to do anywhere else? But it's like, this is honestly the most healing place for me. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I gotta go and do other stuff in this world. And it's like, all of a sudden, I got like bags under my eyes, but they're like deep wells. Am I the king of the ocean, or am I trapped in hell? You know, like I came up with a movie name for like all these people, all these people at the gym. It's called like Life Behind Bars, the true lifting story. Anyone want to make that? Like, it's like, what do all these people believe in? Like, yeah, let's come out with the movie. Let's call it Life Behind Bars, the true lift. It's just like what the real like weightlifting world is like. Especially like when you're in it. Like I can tell you about tunnel vision, like I said, when I felt like I was my biggest or whatever, like, yeah, everyone coming up and telling me like, you know, talk about like the trend twins or whatever, and he's just like, classical body, my boy. Like, hey, do you compete, son? Hey, you should get into competing, son. You know, kind of thing. Like, I've been there, but it's like tunnel vision. That one I think is super. I think that one's super funny though. Actually, like very classical, my boy. Looking classic. I think that one's pretty funny. Actually, Sam, whatever that. I've been watching a bunch of them now. Sam and Shan and the Trent Twins. I don't really care if you're natural or not. Like, as long as you have a good attitude and it's just like you're just like a good person. You know, like there's strength in numbers. Everyone should probably believe in that. Like, would you want to just be the only guy up on stage, even if there was no audience? Maybe the audience that watches you is a lot of people like you. You know, and it's like, there's strength in numbers. You probably should believe that one. If any of my philosophies like weren't like outrageous, you know. Let's do these cable flies really quick, these chest flies. Or like Logan Cheatwood or whatever. But I grew up watching UFC with like Chuck Norris or Chuck Liddell, and like I grew up watching Chuck Norris too, though. Walker, Texas Ranger. Probably better than like the Trend Twins, like classical body, my boy. Hey, you want to go out on a date? Kind of thing. Like, I can do like the Logan Chitwood face pretty good, or whatever. Hey, can I grab this? I'm on there. Oh, yeah, of course, sorry. I'm trying to do this full stream with me. I'll be real quick. No, you're good. get this right. It's been like 6 years since I've like habitually like worked out in the gym. I've been like working at Amazon and stuff. Like working at Amazon, working as a pizza delivery guy. Like I haven't spent much time in the gym. Working on an assembly factory line. I'll tell you something I had to like stop doing though was like listening to so much like funk. Dude, that stuff, that's some hardcore stuff, especially if you enjoy that and you're like listening to that regularly, like listening to funk and just like closing yourself off and that's like all you listen to. That's like what it feels like to like just rage all the time. It's like you can really get stuck in a funk listening to funk. He's really just smiling. That's like the feeling of your heart giving out. It's just like, can't do anymore. I gotta like just walk, I have to like walk through it. Just like, my chest is done. There's a lot of big people that go to this gym though. Just looking around, like, at some point in time, I think like gym is a gym is a gym is a gym, though. Especially with all my philosophies, it's like, does the world ever really move? Like, maybe the greatest dumbbell is like the gym. Just like, can you move the gym? Can you run the gym? Kind of thing. You know, and if you can, do you believe in any of the stuff that I'm saying? Because it probably adds just a little bit more weight, maybe a little bit more weight that you can't handle. Maybe I'll do some push-ups here in this back room and like call it. Well, I maintained a pump like this whole hour, like hour and 10 minutes or whatever, so. Yeah, it's surprising. It's like so interesting to me. Like, when do people watch? You know, just like I've been doing this for like 8 years. I've like live streamed and like walking around Mexico. No one channels in, no one tunes in. It's like, why now? You know? Who knows? Maybe I passed some step on YouTube or something like that. Like, just was a matter of time. I don't know if this is the best place to do push-ups in right now. Let's go up to the cave. That's the backyard. Anyone wondering? That's what they call it, at least. Gym's such an interesting place, though. It's like you come here enough, it's like you start just recognizing people. It's like you might not know them, but you see them here like every day. It's just like, all right, you're like one of us or something, to an extent. I'm sure that there's like the idea, you know, of like people that just don't get it, or popular or unpopular crowds kind of thing. And there's just me. I've been doing this like alone, but like I said, I haven't been in a gym. Like, I'm so out of shape right now. Like, look at me. I'm so fucking out of shape. I'm so out of shape, man. To me, though, I really am. That's how you know it's been a good day. It's like push-ups are like deadly. It's like just straight up doing like 20 push-ups to like kill you. But I'll tell you what's always hard is like hanging on the bar for like 2 minutes. I did that like I knew it was gonna happen at some point. I got like the cheapest tripod in the world. Cost me like, I might have to get a new one. Cost me like $10. I hung on the bar though for 2 minutes. Was it just that move? That weird twist right there? Two minutes, hang on that. I'm definitely gonna have to get a new tripod. It's losing it. My tripod's losing it. All right, let's hit these last few. I've set records in a gym before. A gym called Performax. I set a bunch of records on like plank, push-ups, pull-ups, like standing high jump and stuff like that. I set a bunch of records. They had like a whole record thing on the wall. It was just my name, my name, my name, my name. That was like 7 or 10 years ago though. You know, like I like feel like an old man. Yeah, I'm like 32, I'm turning 33. It's like, yeah, I look pretty pumped in the mirror, but like, again, relatively, you know, and it's just like, when just like, I don't know, 3 months ago, like right before a bunch of stuff happened, I'm just like doing muscle ups on these bars and, you know, doing 100 push-ups in a row, like without stopping in like a minute. That's always tough. I did that like, I don't know, 3 months ago, but I'm coming off an injury with my calf and like an injury with the arch of my foot. It's like I was in a boot for like 6 months, you know, just a bunch of stuff. It's like life, you know, but here I am still. It's like, keep coming back. Just keep coming back. One of my friends told me one time when I was like running like a mile in elementary school, he's like, just keep going. You know, and I did. He was like, he had been like wrestling like a long time before I was, and he was just like, just keep going. Like that day, I was in like fifth grade or 6th grade or something. I just didn't stop. I just kept running. I'm still here, I'm still running. Probably finish this off with some yoga really quick. Just stretch again. So it's like, you know, I'm leaving just as flexible as I came in, kind of thing. That might be it for the day. 10:30. It's like that's like an hour workout for you, like with stretching. Chest. You can imagine what it would be like with no camera and just like company, friends around you everywhere. My back's looking huge though. Anyways.